Today I'm going to do shamanic journeying to find out about enemies. So this is something you can follow, and I want you to follow along with me. That way you will start to do it by yourself. We are all shamans. We are all psychics. We are all clairvoyant. We're all made of the same stuff. Just some people haven't activated that part of them. And you can do it by starting to do things like this and just build up. Start small. I started very small years and years ago. I was lucky that my bloodline is Irish gypsy, and so there's something about that bloodline that's stripped back, but there's also a lot about other bloodlines that are stripped back, and so it's easier than, it's easier for some bloodlines than others, but it just means it's easier. It doesn't mean it can't. It just means they'll have an easier ride to get into it. So what I'm going to do today, without waffling on, is so say you have an enemy and this enemy is getting at you. Sometimes the most frustrating thing about an enemy is that you don't know why they're doing it, you don't know what they're doing, and they could be targeting you, and you think, well, why? And then you think, well, how do I deal with them? If you don't know why they're targeting you, you don't know the correct way of dealing with them. So let's start off. Okay, so I want you to get a photograph of your enemy. And get a photograph. When you're reading the energy of others, you need a photograph where they've given their energy in to the photograph. Okay. The same as if you're showing a photograph of yourself to another person and you want them to know you, you normally choose a photograph where you can see the energy in your eyes. So you can see when you look at the picture, that's showing a lot of who you are. So I want you to get a photograph of your enemy that shows a lot of who they are. So they'll be looking deep into the camera, their soul will be open, and you'll be able to see deep into their eyes. So get a photograph like that. And then as we carry on, I'm going to be doing the journeying with my enemy. And so, everyone's probably got quite a few, but just pick one. Pick one that's influencing you at the time. When they're influencing you at the time, it's a very good time to do this because you'll access it that more readily. Okay, so get your picture, look deeply in its eyes, and as you do, start to recognize their energy. Now, all energy for every separate person has a certain charge to it. That charge has a flavor, that charge has a musical note, that charge is very particular to them. Everyone's is different. It's like a signature. That's why when we work with entities, we use sigils. And when you want to connect with that entity, you stare at that sigil, because if you look at a sigil, it's a different signature. That's their resonance, okay? So everyone has a resonance. So stare into their eyes in the photograph and pull that resonance towards you. Pull that sigil, that doorway towards you. It will just come out almost like ether, like a kind of a liquid, and draw that into your own eyes, okay? Draw it towards you from their eyes into your eyes, like sucking in a kind of a ray that's going between you, but it's coming from them into you. So suck that in. It's almost like liquid and yet not liquid, and feel it. Then gather it up when it's in your system. Keep it by the eye area and gather it up into a ball. And a fairly small ball, but also the size of a football. And then put that under your arm. And then position yourself where you're facing the lower world and the upper world, which is symbolic by a tree. Picture yourself in a nature reserve. And breathe it in, breathe in the green. Picture yourself on a hot day. It's very hot. Before you see a forest. And that forest is a portal. So you can get your own forest. You don't have to try to come along into mine. Everyone has their own access point. So make your own access point. Make it right now. Look at the ground, feel the ground underneath your feet. It's a very hot day. Make yourself a forest. The forest is in front of you. I'm going to go and access mine now, and I've boundaried it off. And I also have an entity there at the gate, so I'm just going to go up to them and show them what's on my palm. And then they're going to unlock and let me through. I'm now facing my forest. I'm going to walk up the incline towards it. Once I get into the forest, I immediately feel the coolness, and I walk between two large oaks. This is the doorway now. This is the doorway into that crossover point between worlds. And I walk forward, and I notice my forest at this point is cool. Now yours might be different. You might feel it as hotter. And notice the trees around you. What do they look like? Have they brown trunks, grey, white, maybe black? Touch them as you go past. Notice the sounds under your feet. Are you crunching on twigs, wet leaves? Or is the ground more exotic, more tropical? What does it feel like underneath your feet? Underneath my feet, I've ivy. And this is a Fae forest. The Fae are in charge of the edges of the realms. You can call them Jinn. I'm now seeing my power animal at this point. Normally a power animal will come with you as you cross over worlds. They are threshold guardians. If you don't have one at first, after time, might take many years to come, after time, one will come. So mine's a jaguar. I call her Nancy. And now she's walking along beside me. So just walk forward into the forest and notice that the land might be ascending or descending. Just walk forward and notice if you see or hear anything to the left, to the right, but keep walking. For me, things are getting darker and darker still, and the trees now have a white bark to them. I'm going to touch them. I'm now going deep into Fae territory, something Brian Barrett calls the calf, which encircles our world. I know it's Fae because it's starting to look slightly what we would term magical. Okay, so over to the left-hand side, I'm now seeing a Fae, and the Fae is sitting atop a cave. And from the cave, there's a waterfall. It's only gentle, and there's a stream. Okay, I'm going to go up to the stream, and I've got my football under my arm. That's my enemy that I'm going to read. And she is drawing attention to that, so I'm going to hold that out for her. And now I'm going to put it under the water. And this is to clean it of any dense energies. This will give you a better reading on the person. You do not need to read their dark energies. You're after their core. So let that rinse off under the water. Let it rinse. And I can see as it's rinsing, my enemy he's a drinker. He drinks alcohol, smokes, knows he shouldn't smoke because his cancer runs in his family, but does because he enjoys it when he smokes. He watches pornography. He's gay. He watches group pornography, which is very, very bad to do. I don't agree with any pornography, but that's the darkest kind because it's abusing that sex should be about love, not about just sex for sex, because that opens portals to things that you don't want to have attaching to you. Just let that rinse off. Okay, I'm going to bring the football now out. I'm going to put it under my arm. The Fae is speaking to me about this, and she is telling me that I should calm myself. And I'm going to ask her why I should calm myself about this enemy. And she is opening a portal. So By opening a portal, it's like drawing a television set in the air, and then she's going to show me. So I'm looking at it, and it's showing me my enemy, and my enemy is writing me an email. And I'm seeing inside his mind, and I'm seeing he's not actually thinking too much about what he's doing. And that's not because he's thinking about anything else, it's because he is unconnected to life for some reason. So he's pretty disconnected and pretty on remote control. So he's writing me that email, I can see, without any sensitivity around that I'm actually a human being. So he doesn't really connect to that or see that or feel that. So actually it's not personal. I took it incredibly personally, as if he was aiming his guns at me, but actually he's giving me about as much thought as a dog. Okay, well that's made me feel a bit better about it. Okay, so she's closing the portal. Can I ask you, Faye, about the other one that was similar to this one, Newton? I want to know what stopped him from going full steam ahead with what he intended to do. So she's opening me a portal now. It's like she's drawing a television set in the air and showing me through that is a picture like a television, and I'm seeing this person I wanted to see. She's telling me I won't like what I see. Well, I already have issues around that individual, so hardly matters. They were going to hurt me very badly, but then didn't. I want to know why. Oh, there's somebody appearing in the picture that seems incongruent because these two people don't know each other. It's actually Miles Johnson. They don't know each other. They do know each other. Okay. So another person made contact with Miles Johnson many years ago, kept in contact. For some reason, these two are talking to each other. He's asking him, did he have any footage of me? He's saying, no, there isn't. And he's saying all sorts to him, that I practice black magic, yada, yada. He's saying, can we see film and footage? What the fuck? This isn't black magic. I don't practice black magic, and I don't engage with any dark entities, any demon princes. I'm fully on the side of God. What the fuck? Why are they? It's like, it's quite funny. So the reason, bottom line, why he didn't go ahead is Miles Johnson scared the shit out of him about me. So it was fear. So interesting, isn't it? Where you think being honest to people might stop them, explaining it might hurt you, and then you think, oh, they've decided to see that it would really hurt me. But no, fear stops them. So interesting. I'm actually angry again. I'm just going to tell the Fair Forest that I am angry again. She's handing me a bottle, and the bottle is full of a potion. I'm going to lay down, and she's telling me to pour that on my lower parts. So this is the sacral chakra area, and I did connecting with my inner child the other day, and I'm going to do a video about how to connect with your inner child. I rescued mine from a dungeon, and okay, that area around my sacral chakra is wounded. It seems to have shards of glass pointing out of it. So anytime anyone attacks me, that tends to dig in. I'm pouring over the potion, but she's telling me I need to go back to the house where I put my inner child and to dose her with it daily. She's also telling me I've got enemies, and it's people that tell themselves I'm dark side. Oh, well done. Don't they always? People never tell themselves people are decent when they attack them, so they feel bad. It's always like, I'm fighting the darkness. How fucking pathetic. Okay, I'm going to ask her to send out protection against these people, every single one of them. Okay, and a reversal of energy. Okay. And I'm just going to pull out those shards of glass. And they were put there by the priests, the Catholic priests in my children's home orphanage. They carried out magic on certain children of certain bloodlines. They knew I came from Irish Gypsy, so they knew to attack me. So I was sexually abused at a really young age before I went to my adoptive home. That makes sense. And then that resonated with me. So all around that area is pain, inflammation. I'm just going to pour more of that potion. The shards of glass are falling out now. And I'm going to ask the Fae to shine a light in there to purify that of pain. Purify it of its densities from the sexual abuse. And she's telling me to sit in the water in my lower half. Just going to sit in that crystalline lake and let that wash away. So I've never found love because that part of me is wounded. It almost sends off a form of repellent to anybody that might be interested in me. So it's almost like a curse. It's worked as a curse. And they do it so you don't rise up, so your bloodline doesn't rise up. So I won't marry, become part of a unit. That being part of a unit, you build, so you have property solid, and you become part of the unit, and then you grow in power. If you're single all the time, life is so much harder. You don't tend to build. You could end up in poverty, destitution, which I have. She's now telling me that that's for a reason, because I need to address the healing that I need. So in other words, I might have put a band-aid over it, but I've been pushed into pain to eventually end up here, and she's saying it's a very important day. So I'm just going to let that glass melt, the denseness drop out into the crystalline river, let the crystalline river wash into my lower parts, and then I'm going to lay back and let it wash into my heart. My heart is full of bitterness and disappointments and mostly anger. Whenever I'm attacked, I feel as if I've had enough of attacks, as if it's too much. Often they're people that don't know pain at all. And I'm being told to forgive them. So I'm going to let forgiveness of the crystalline river wash into my heart. I've also got enemies around me that pretend to be friends. I know about them. I'm not sure how to deal with them. They mean me bad, but they don't show that. Okay, she's showing me one of them, and she's putting a cloche over her as regards me. I would prefer that would stay. Okay, so let's wash through my heart again. And she's telling me to lie back further. I'm washing through my throat area, my forehead, my crown, chakras at the bottom of my feet, chakras on my palms. I'm accepting the full energy of the crystalline river to cleanse me. I feel much, much better. Okay, I'm going to stand up. She's putting a blanket around me. Okay, so this is what we can do to deal with enemies. We can go and see, you can call them jinn, you can call them fae of the forest, you can call them whatever. On our next podcast, I will take you further into the forest, and we will meet the masters of the realm. So I'm also going to take you through an underwater portal. It's always risky doing this because you get people, again, other psychics, oh, don't like that, or oh, I'll spy on you, I'll access your points. You just revealed your points. Which is why, if you note that as before we entered the forest, I pointed out the jinn on the boundary of the forest. This means that whenever anybody tries to access the jinn that I've commanded, we'll stop them from accessing. So it's always necessary to do this. Just because people aren't you know, people aren't fair with other people. People don't respect others' boundaries. People want to show off, oh, I'm more powerful, yada, 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 rather than accepting someone's doing something that's actually none of the other person's business. But this is a world of what is known as magic. And I'm putting myself out there because there's people out there struggling, people out there that have been targeted, and people need to protect themselves occultically. And why? Because often their attacks are coming from that level. And so once you pump your muscle in that level, it's another place where you can protect yourself. It's another place when you're targeted, you can find out what the hell that person's about. Because not everybody is working spiritually targeting you. Sometimes it's just people that are assholes. Some people have so much dense energy in them, they just hurt other people as a matter of course. They just hurt other people as they think, I'm a person of power. That person's not in a position of power. I'm going to just go, like that to them. What I've done a reversal of that energy. So whereas I was attacked, I've asked the jinn to dish that up back to them. And sometimes you can do that and say, I want them to know where that's coming from. So they might have a dream that they're being attacked by me, or something will happen to them, some form of what they might call bad luck. And it might come into their consciousness, this is because of what I did, da 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 da. You can add that to it, or you can say, keep me hidden. So they won't know it's you, but they will experience that. And sometimes it will give them the learning about hurting others. They will think, I don't deserve this bad luck, and then maybe it will come into their consciousness that actually they go around hurting other people, so they do deserve bad luck. Normally the universe takes care of the whole thing with karma. It does work. So always be nice to people, always be kind to people, always try and forgive people, because if you don't, then that karma does come back to you. It's a law of nature. God is literally watching everything we do. If you start causing a lot of pain in another person's life, it will come back to you. Now, sometimes if someone's targeting me very hard, I will do a reversal of energy, which is a whole ritual to it, where you have to involve an entity in that ritual, because it's powerful, and it does 100% work. 100% work. So next time we're going to go further into the forest and find the portal in the forest, and also we're going to do the water portal. So the water portal is the lake outside the forest, and you can go down into the lower worlds. You can meet with the masters of the realm. You can go to the Temple of Lost Souls and do some soul retrieval. You can then go up to the higher realms, to the planets, and visit the planets, interact with the beings there, open portals to your own entities you've been dealing with. You can go and read the oracles in the upper world, which tell you about your past lives and your future lives. You can get the entities in the upper world to open portals and to show you your past lives. You can do this for other people. You can take them with you on this shamanic journey and show them. You can take your enemy's energy if you can't access it at this lower level, but I've just accessed it. You can go higher and look into what they're doing, where they're doing, who they're doing it with, and why. So it's a good, it's just like looking at your life from the street level, and then climbing a tall building and looking at it and seeing every aspect. So it's like when we ask the spirits, oh, what's going to happen in the future? This, they can only see ahead. Well, depending on what level of spirit they are, they can see ahead, because only when we're on this earth in the 3D, we can't see anything. So literally you're coming out the third dimension, you're traveling into the fifth dimension to see what's going on. And it's actually incredibly powerful. Whenever I shamanically journey or realm walk, I have a notebook by my side, and I've trained myself to be able to open my eyes, leave my brain where it is, and write down. And then later you have quite a comprehensive report of aspects of your life. So it's a powerful tool. I'd suggest people maybe read The Shamanic Way by Michael Harner. There's not too many books on using it for these reasons. I was toying with the idea of writing a book myself, and I might actually do it, but I need to get out there and bring in money right now, because writing books just doesn't pay, and it can sit there. I've been traditionally published before, and obviously that does pay. But when you self-publish, you can just put the book out there, and you won't earn any money for years, and then suddenly you might, sell a few copies, which is a few pound. It's not, it's not a great way of earning money. You do need a publisher, or you need to know how to market. So I don't actually know how to market. So I'm not going to sit there and do another book right now, because it's actually, it's something you do for free. It's something you don't get anything back from. So I can't afford to do that right now. But I would like to write a book about shamanic journeying, for gathering information for yourself, on others. And you can take somebody, if somebody isn't proficient in journeying, you can take them with you. You can lie next to them, or over the phone, they can be lying down. You can take them with you and look into their lives, so you can help friends that might need to know information about their lives. So you can give that to other people if you so choose. One day I will write a book about this, called maybe Shamanic Sight or something like that. Perhaps I will start it today. It's a Sunday. I want to give blessings to everyone. Have a really good Sunday, and thank you for listening, and I hope this helped. You can also do it, by the way, on the world. So if you want to do that, you could take a globe in with you and then ask questions about the world and world events. So it's pretty powerful. Okay, I'm going to end it there. I've talked enough. Have a really good Sunday.